WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Two people are in jail tonight after a Columbus officer pulls someone over and then is hit as the vehicle drove away. A chase for the driver ends in Clay County. 31-year-old Brittany Booth is charged with fleeing or eluding along with several misdemeanor traffic violations. 31-year-old Joseph Halinchko is also charged with fleeing or eluding. The Lowndes County Sheriff's Office says a Columbus police officer pulled the vehicle over in the Walmart parking lot. Their vehicle then sped off, hitting the officer and went down Officers Lake Road. Investigators say the car took several back roads before being stopped in Tibby. Sources tell WCBI the officer initially stopped the vehicle after a shoplifting call. Columbus police have not released any information about the incident. We're told the officer was not injured. A Lowndes County man is accused of ramming his girlfriend's vehicle with her inside. 28-year-old Roy Hopkins is charged with domestic violence, aggravated assault. Deputies were called to the home off Mike Perro Road on early Sunday morning. The woman was not seriously injured. Hopkins' bond has not been set. In Prentiss County, John Casey Crow is facing a number of charges after deputies find drugs and stolen property. Crow is charged with possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell. After the Thursday traffic stop, the charge was enhanced with a possession of a firearm. That led officers to get a search warrant being for Crow's home on County Road 1251. Investigators recovered a 2013 Harley Davidson reportedly stolen from Tippah County. They also found a camper and a boat, both reported stolen in Tennessee. Crow was charged with 4 counts of receiving possession stolen property. His bond is set at $100,000. 2 men faced drug charges in Monroe County on Saturday. Deputies arrested Jerry Causey of Nettleton and Zipper Gray of Amory. Both men were charged with 1 count of controlled substance. Investigators say the 2 were caught with meth. Gray and Causey are in the Monroe County Detention Center. Time now to turn our attention to weather, and Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson gives us our first look. Keith.
Hey Joey, a live look into Tupelo right now with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network shows a little bit of sunshine, some friendly clouds, and no rain at this point in time in the city of Tupelo. We are currently at 83 degrees. Humidity levels are dropping a little bit, but still some humidity down here in southeastern Winston County. 1 rogue shower down there for you southeast of Louisville. So that's where we are right now. You can see the big picture. The greater storms now lining up right along I-2059. So if you're heading out this evening, maybe a slight chance for a shower here. Then we're back into the 70s. Our forecast lows tonight down into the upper 60s to low 70s. We're still watching that tropical entity down there in the Gulf of Mexico. More on that in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. There's no discrimination. It can happen to anyone, anytime. Drowning. And Columbus Fire and Rescue says in Lowndes County, they see it happen more often in creeks, streams, and the river. Of course, our Jory Talley joins us live in the studio with more on the risk when you're swimming. Jory?
Joey, so far this summer, Columbus Fire and Rescue has responded to 3 drowning calls in rivers and creeks. It's because many people don't realize how often conditions of this water changes.
You can swim anywhere where there's water, but each body of water is different, and drowning is always a risk.
If you notice them, you're going to see that they're struggling to swim, they're struggling in the water. You can't really hear them. It's silent. They slip under, and then you see them underneath.
The biggest mistake for swimmers is underestimating how strong a current can be.
The faster the water's moving, the harder it is to control your being able to stand or swim in it. So you have to think that only 6 inches of water can move a vehicle. So that moving water is a whole different animal than a static swimming area.
One danger of swimming in creeks is that the terrain can change from one week to the next.
A constant flow of water changes the conditions of the surface underneath the water. So where you used to wade out and it was only an ankle or knee deep just a few months before, could be up to 12 feet deep presently. So you just don't know, and that unpredictability leads to a lot of drownings.
Columbus Fire and Rescue Assistant Chief Dwayne Hughes says rainfall doesn't make it any better.
This time of year we've got a tremendous amount of rainfall, which leads to cloudy water conditions. Visibility is very low. And you also have to consider with that rise in water a lot of debris, a lot of entrapment issues as far as these natural bodies of water.
Captain Wes Mills says creek rescues are a danger, even for the trained dive team.
One of the most popular swimming areas in the county is probably the Lawrence Bridge area north of Caledonia. And we usually go at least once a year there because the current in that area is extremely fast. And we have actually had responders have to be pulled from the water down there too, so it's a very dangerous area.
Here are a few tips to prevent drowning. Be aware of your surroundings and know the conditions if the water you're swimming in has changed, especially when it rains like it has been this afternoon. For more information, head on over to our website at WCBInews.com. Joey.
All right, thanks, Shori. Bad news for some area farmers. A corn crop in Webster County was found to be infested with southern rust. The reddish-orange fungus thrives in hot weather and travels by wind, infecting the corn. It's unusually early in the season for rust development. Extension Service agents are working to prevent the spread of the disease to neighboring counties.
Right now we're looking at the crops, just trying to make sure that was just maybe an isolated situation. We're not in panic mode at this stage. We're just scouting fields, looking for diseases.
Farmers are also dealing with the large amount of rain received in the last week. Other than that, the Extension Service says corn is looking good this season. 2 universities, community colleges, as well as an Air Force base, the Golden Triangle has a sizable transient population. However, many decide to stay and call the area home. WCBI's Parker King joins us live in the studio after speaking with some longtime residents to help us find why they stick around. Parker.
Joey, after speaking with these residents, several reasons were given explaining why they have stayed here over the course of their lives. For some, it's work, family, or maybe a little bit of both. In the end, an overlapping factor that makes this city in the area appealing was the people. Rachel Bell and Dean Freet are longtime Golden Triangle residents.
Well, I tell you what, this is home to me. I moved here when I was about 14, 15 years old from Alabama. I could go on and on telling the good things that they've done for me and my family.
Both say they've seen changes over the 6 decades of living here.
I think people who have observed Columbus over the years can say that it really evolved from being called Possum Town to the friendly city. And that's one of the things that attracted me. Columbus has always struck me as being a very friendly area.
This is something that is not only felt by the 2 longtime residents, but also their children, all of whom have stayed in the area.
They saw the people as a whole, and they wanted to be like those people. They wanted to do what Mississippi had already taught them to be like and what they wanted to be like, and they just wanted to settle here.
To perhaps convince people to stay longer, Bell and Freet give advice that back up their hometown as the friendly city.
It's so easy to make friends here, friends who are really friends, who are willing to help you. And that's a good question they all need to ask themselves. If I move somewhere else, will I have the neighbors, the friends that I have in Columbus?
And the 2 also advise that if someone was to leave the area, that they take what they've learned from the people here to make wherever they go a little more friendly. Joey?
All right, thanks, Parker. Well, they've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, but a caravan of classic cars makes a stop in Tupelo. We check in when we come back.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. If you felt the ground shake in Tupelo this afternoon, it wasn't an earthquake, just the rumble of a couple hundred V8 engines. Over 200 Trans Ams and Firebirds are eastbound and down from Texarkana, Arkansas to Atlanta for the 11th annual Bandit Run. The week-long muscle car caravan celebrates the movie classic Smokey and the Bandit. Today, it pulled into Tupelo for a pit stop at the Tupelo Automobile Museum.
The black and gold Trans Am is it's like not only iconic of the movie, but the features, the body lines, and the mechanics of the car in and of itself. You know, for me and a lot of the enthusiasts, it was a car that was ahead of its time.
A lot of cool rides out there. This is the 40th anniversary of the Smokey and the Bandit. It ranked second at the box office in 1977 behind Star Wars. The end of the Mississippi State baseball season marks the beginning of renovations to Dudy Noble Field. Gone are the traditional homemade rigs from the legendary left field lounge, and the exterior metal bleachers are all being removed. The renovations will include the extension to the double-decker seating, approximately 50 skyboxes, and 86 designated spots for the left field loungers. Games will be played at Dudy Noble Field next year, but it will not be the usual complete schedule.
Currently in Columbus, we are 81 degrees, overcast conditions. The full forecast is next.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Great to see you on this Monday afternoon. Our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Tupelo this afternoon shows a little bit of sunshine, some passing clouds, and clouds moving in different directions, different layers of the atmosphere in play today. As we get into our Tuesday, a mix of sun and clouds as well. We start out in the low 70s, likely back into the mid to possibly upper 80s, maybe some upper 80s across the northern tier tomorrow. Not a lot of rain expected tomorrow. The rain chance is 20%. You can see the last shower we've had in Winston County going away. Most of the rain now concentrated just to our south and east, and that's really going to be the trend for the rest of this evening. So most of us should have a dry evening. Get out there and make the most of it. Wet weather developing here across the northeastern part of the Gulf of Mexico. You can see down there's a little bit of a swirl or two or three down here. This is what's trying to get organized, this tropical entity that is a potential tropical storm system that could develop here and actually be named. There is that potential track. Now, regardless of a name or not, it looks like there's going to be a lot of moisture that comes back into the deep south. So this is probably not going to be a major wind producer, even if it is named, but we will have a lot of moisture down here in the deep south as that system treks back to the north and northwest later this week. So all the way from Louisiana through the deep south, there's a potential for some flooding. We just don't know exactly where this heaviest rain is going to be. Are we going to get a few inches around here, several inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We just do not know at this point. All because of that track is still uncertain. But we do know that the rain chances will be on the low end of the spectrum Tuesday and Wednesday. And once that system, whatever it is, gets a little bit back to the north and west, our rain chances will start to go up around here. So we bumped them up to about 70% Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But that could be a complete bust if this thing goes out to the west or off to the east. So there's that system that could get a little bit better organized. It's going to get a little bit closer to the coast tomorrow. We will be on the northern fringe of this moisture tomorrow, so there's a chance for one of these showers or thunder showers, especially across our southeastern counties. Same story on Wednesday, too. And then whatever is left of this thing is going to shift back to the north and get more so into our region, and all that deep tropical moisture is going to be squeezed out somewhere. Will we get it here locally? We'll just wait and see. Currently in the low 80s around our region, some spots in the 70s, taking it down to about 69 degrees tonight. And our city-by-city forecast for tomorrow, you can see some upper 80s here in northeast Mississippi, maybe some mid-80s down closer to the Golden Triangle area, and some mid to upper 80s in West Alabama. So here's our 7-day forecast. Warm and sticky for the next 7 days, highs generally in the mid-80s. We are watching those rain chances ramping up on Thursday. all because of that tropical storm. We'll keep you updated on that. Joey?
At stop number 1 of WCBI's high school football tour, we're running with the Vardaman Rams. Coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
In Vardaman, playoff appearances are expected. After a 3-year drought, the Rams return to the postseason and are looking to keep it that way in 2017. The long-awaited wait is over. The Vardaman Rams are stop number 1 in the 2017 high school football tour.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Emerson Animal Hospital, where your pets are family in West Point.
It's real clear now the expectations and what it takes to reach that level of playoff contention and a winning season. We have the same goals most everybody else does.
Momentum is gaining in Vardaman. Head coach Larry Gann and the Rams return to the postseason in 2016, finishing above 500 for the first time since 2012. A new division awaits the Rams in 2017 as Vardaman jumps from Region 1 to Region 3 in 1A for the upcoming season.
We're in unfamiliar territory with our division games outside of West Lowndes and Hamilton. So the unknown part of it is makes you a little apprehensive, but we feel good about the kids we've got coming back.
15 seniors return for Coach Gann, 11 of those being starters from a year ago.
Our goal this season is just to make it further in the playoffs than last year and learn from the mistakes we made that cost us big games last year.
Fundamentals, strength, speed, anything that we can improve in, we are improving in, and I see it in the weight room, out on the field, everywhere.
This year's senior class has been a part of the rebuilding of Rams football. The players know what they do in the offseason will help lay the groundwork for future success.
I just hope we have a winning season and make it to the playoffs. Our goal is not to go to the championship yet, it's just step by step to get there.
While Vardaman fans await that first championship, they'll continue to root for a Rams revival. Senior Dylan Williams says last season's success energized the hometown crowd.
The town of Vardaman has really increased their support for our football program. Last year we made our playoff appearance. I have to say we had some of the best crowds at our home game that we've seen in a while.
The Rams kick off the 2017 season with a road trip to South Pontotoc on August 17th. In Vardaman with the Rams, Tom Ebel, WCBI Sports. ICC softball All-Americans Mamie Hollenhead and Alex Brown will stay teammates for yet another season as both sign to continue their softball careers with North Alabama. The East Webster grad Hollenhead led the Indians in batting average, hits, and RBIs, and Pontotoc's own Brown led the Indians in stolen bases, while also leading the country for the second straight year in being hit by a pitch.
Well, as soon as I went on my visit, it really just felt like home to me. Kind of like how when I came here to ICC, as soon as I got here, just like a sense of family here. So when I got there, I knew that's where I needed to be because it's just like a huge family over there.
I'm just glad to have this opportunity to further my softball career and play with Mamie another time.
That does it for sports. So the last year forecast coming up next.
Thousands of men from across the Southeast spend part of their Father's Day weekend at an annual Christian men's event in Birmingham. Gridiron featured several speakers, including Ole Miss head football coach Hugh Freeze, who called for the men to let their Christian faith impact their every area of their lives. Participants say they were challenged and encouraged.
When you're leading worship for 8,000 men, it's like you're leading worship for 8,000, an army of warriors, you know, and it's just powerful. There's nothing like it. The sound that's coming my way is amazing, but I think it gives us all a little glimpse of what heaven's going to be like.
And somehow we've bought into the lie that I don't need to be outspoken about my faith, that it should be private and personal. And in reality, it's something I should live out loud and tell people about every day.
Several churches from North Mississippi participated in the event.
Weather-wise, we do have some warm temperatures for the next couple of days, but rain chances really start to go up again Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but that's all dependent on that thing down in the Gulf of Mexico, that tropical entity that's trying to form.
Entity. It doesn't have a name
No
yet.
name. It's just a big bunch of moisture at this point. So
Big
we'll see
blob
what
of
happens.
rain.
And that's right, big blob of rain's coming somewhere. Will we get it? We'll wait and see.
So basically, if this thing goes a little further west, then we may not see as much rain.
West or east, but if it goes northwest, then we may be in prime position. We'll see.
That means more yard mowing, right?
Just keeps growing.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.